Així que donem una benvinguda, un aplaudiment a la doctoressa Melanie Joy. Welcome to Vegan Fest.
Now I'm going in. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, amazing.
Great to have you here. What a pleasure to have you here, Melanie.
Oh my God. So I read about how big this festival is, but I didn't realize just how big it was until I got here. I am amazed and so inspired. Thank you. This is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, because it's inspired. Thank you. You inspire us to make all this. I got a question for you, some questions. So, la senyora Melanie Joy va acunyar el concepte de carnisme. Carnisme. Jo li volia demanar en poques paraules què és aquest concepte de carnisme. Would you like to explain in simple words what carnism means?
So carnism is the invisible belief system that conditions us to eat certain animals. It's basically the opposite of veganism. And we often assume that only vegans and vegetarians follow a belief system. The only reason that people might eat pigs but not dogs, for example, is because they do have a belief system when it comes to eating animals. And when eating animals is not a necessity, which is true for people who can afford to make their food choices freely, then it's a choice, and choices always stem from beliefs. But it comes from beliefs, but the belief system that informs or drives people's food choices is invisible, so most people have no idea that they're making a choice every time they eat animals. Most people would never willingly contribute to harm to animals, but most people do eat animals. So in order for carnism to stay alive, it needs to create a mentality in people so that they keep eating animals without stopping to think about the fact that they're hurting animals. Carnism uses psychological defense mechanisms. These are ways of thinking that distort our perception. And these defense mechanisms distort our perceptions and disconnect us from our natural empathy for animals. So for example, carnism teaches us to think of farmed animals as abstractions. For example, we give dogs names and we recognize them as individuals, but we learn to believe that a pig is a pig and all pigs are the same, even though pigs are individuals with personalities and lives that matter to them. And also, carnism teaches us to believe that the myths of eating animals are the facts of eating animals. We learn to believe in what I call the 3 N's of justification. We learn to believe that eating animals is normal, natural, and necessary. These same 3 N's have been used to justify all kinds of violence: male dominance, racism, heterosexual supremacy. But people believe that these are true when in fact they're not. And carnism is supported by all social institutions. So for example, when we study nutrition, we actually study carnistic nutrition. So the reason is because when we're born into carnism, we learn to look at the world through the eyes of carnism. Carnism shapes our mentality, and carnism teaches us to, when it comes to the animals we learned to classify as edible, carnism teaches us to disconnect from our rationality and our empathy. It's a disconnection, and it is I call it the carnistic mentality. It is irrational. It is irrational, and people do not see the contradictions that are right in front of them because of this mentality. Living as a vegan in a non-vegan world can be very stressful. We live in a world where we know there is terrible violence happening every second that we can't end immediately. We live in a world where we see trucks of animals' bodies being driven down the street, and our friends and family eating dead animals and acting like something's wrong with us because we care. We want to wake people up, but I'm saying it's very stressful. Yeah. We care so much. Many vegans are traumatized because of what they have seen and what they know. So many people are traumatized, vegans are traumatized, and that's also stressful. And the good news is that it's really important to be vegan, and it can be very empowering to be vegan, and there are ways to take care of yourself so that you feel better. Really important to learn how to take care of ourselves. One thing that's important to do, I'll tell a few things, right? But one thing that's really important to do is to stop watching graphic imagery or looking at graphic images of animals who are suffering. Don't look at that. If you are already vegan, you don't need to take the trauma into your life. Sometimes vegans feel guilty and they think they have to look at this. Don't do it. It's not helping the animals, it's only hurting you. And if somebody tries to show you this, say, please stop. It's not good for me. I've seen this already. Another thing that's really important to do is to treat yourself the way that you want other people to treat animals, with compassion. Practice compassion to yourself. And that means you don't always have to be advocating veganism everywhere you go all the time. If you need to take a break and relax, do that. There are lots of tools for how to communicate about veganism in a way that helps people understand your message. And when you're talking to other people and you want to raise their awareness and teach them about veganism, there are many techniques and tools you can use. We only have time for one or two, but I have a website that's free information and courses on how to talk to non-vegans. One thing you can do is if somebody says, "Why are you vegan?" don't tell them why they should be vegan. Tell them your story. Nobody can make your story wrong. I became vegan because I learned about what's happening to the animals and I was shocked and I became disgusted by meat. When you're communicating also, it's very important to not communicate in a way that is shaming or tries to make the other person feel guilty. Inside, and there is a lot of research on this, inside, most people feel guilty about eating animals. We don't need to make people feel guilty. No. If we try to make people feel guilty, they get more defensive. Share what you know to be true with them, your experience and your story, without judgment, if you can. And ideally, without being invested that person change. Don't feel like you have to make somebody change. I always recommend two things when we are advocating veganism. One is, instead of saying, go vegan, I recommend saying, be as vegan as possible. People are much more open to that. If everybody in the world were as vegan as possible, the world would be vegan very quickly. I also recommend asking people to be what I call a vegan ally. A vegan ally is somebody who supports veganism even though they're not vegan themselves. It's what matters is impact, how many animals we are helping, not purity, who's vegan and who's not vegan. For example, my publisher of this book, the publisher of this book, they're not vegan, but they believe in the message. And they helped me get media and on television last night here. And they said to me yesterday, there's a word for us. We are vegan allies. And this publisher is probably saving more animals than many vegans do. So we invite people to be a part of the solution. If we say, it's not that you're vegan and you're part of the solution, or you're not vegan and you're part of the problem. Everybody can use their influence to help end violence against animals. Right now, carnism is the dominant ideology. So social institutions are all carnistic, but these institutions slowly are changing. There are many people like myself, I'm an educator. There are many people in universities now who are teaching animal courses on not just veganism, but animal rights. There are many schools that are making their canteens plant-based, Many of them have a lot of plant-based days or plant-based weeks.
Yep.
People can get degrees now specializing in the psychology. They can do their PhD in the psychology of eating animals.
Yep.
These are just a few examples. Slowly, social institutions are changing as more and more people wake up to the truth about carnism. And people in the institutions are waking up and changing. Professors and nutritionists and psychologists, they're changing institutions. Right now, we are experiencing a backlash. The whole world is experiencing a backlash against progressive change. That's normal. That's what happens when a social movement starts to get powerful enough, the dominant culture fights back. But that doesn't mean that we are not succeeding. And I believe that I have studied social change for many years, and I can see that carnism is going in the direction of other negative isms. Right now, it's a complicated time in the world. Patriarchy's gotten stronger, carnism's gotten stronger, but that's temporary, I believe. I believe that in the future, veganism will be the dominant system. And we have a lot of reason to believe that. I'm not saying this because I hope, it's because of what I observe. I've traveled to over 50 countries on 6 continents, and I see everywhere that more people are waking up to the problem of animal agriculture and supporting veganism.
You got a message for the future generation.
A message for the future generations?
Yeah, why not?
I have a message for this generation. Thank you, because you are the reason that people in the world are waking up. These kinds of festivals, what you are doing here is amazing. 20 years ago, it would not look like this. This is reason to believe that the world is changing for the better, and it's reason to be grateful for you and all of you.
Yes, thank you very much
Muchas
for being
gracias.
here, and thank you.
Gracias.